Hey everyone, my name is Jackie over here at Simply Ride. We are Minnesota's largest used dealership and also one of our newest OEM Yamaha dealers here in the state. So today here in the parts department, I'm actually going to be covering a brand that we just started re-carrying over here at Simply in the parts department for Bluetooth devices for your helmet. So in case any of you are kind of new to this, there are actually devices that you can put into your helmets that allow you to have access to your music, your phone calls, and you can also intercom with other riders as well, so you can talk to other people instead of having to use hand signals and hoping to God they know what you're referencing. So, a lot of you have probably heard of brands like Senna or Cardo, which we do also carry here at Simply, but we wanted to bring in an option that came with a lot of really awesome bang for buck features. That was a really nice option for people who are maybe looking for the crash protection feature that you can find in the Quinn helmets, or you're just looking for a better bang for buck budget quality product because maybe you don't have $300 to lay down on a Senna. So that is why we brought in Uclear. So first off, Uclear is a brand that has been around for a little while now. They were actually originally a military grade product. So they're actually made entirely here in the United States. This is a full local product. Which also means that right now with the supply shortage that we've been having, we've got a higher chance of bringing these in right now too because they're made right here in the States. So let's go ahead and bust into them, see what different kind of options there are, because just like the rest of the brands, they've got tiers. They've got their entry level tier for people who are looking to just get music, phone calls, maybe connect to a passenger, but they're not looking for big old group rides. And then we've got the higher tier stuff that is designed for the really big group rides and shades in between. So, to get started, we've got the Amp Go. So the Amp Go is going to be Uclear's baby product. This one here is designed to be for just a rider and one other person with a very short range. So if you are looking for that rider and passenger setup, this is the one for you. Now, it does still come with Bluetooth capabilities, so you can connect to your phone, you can listen to your own music, you can pull up your Google Maps, listen to directions, all of that stuff, take phone calls, all of that is still doable in the Amp Go. It does come with their basic line speakers, but one thing that really sets Uclear separate from the rest of these brands is that even in their baby product, the Amp Go, you still get two mics. The mics are built into the speakers right next to your jawline here, so you get a much better balance when it comes to the actual microphone quality, because one of the common issues in some of the other brands is that with one mic, if that one mic is anywhere near where a ventilation port is, or if maybe you just don't tend to have, speech on that mostly one side, you can get it much more balanced. So even in their baby product, they've got some really good speakers and they've got dual microphones. Now, up from the Amp Go, which by the way starts off at $120, really nice budget product, we've got the Motion 4 Lite. Now, the Motion 4, I'm not going to lie, this is going to be the item that most of you are probably going to be interested in. So the competitors to the Motion 4 are going to be, the Freecom 4 Plus or the Senna 10S, because this one here is designed to connect to up to 4 people. It's got a decent range on it, but here's the beauty of those 4 people connections. This one actually has mesh. Now, for any of you who have kind of already looked into this, what mesh is that it allows signals to piggyback off of each other. So say, for example, you've got your 4 dudes in a group. You've got one person who's very experienced and very excitable, and one person who's very new at riding and thus is a little slow at the green lights. These 2 riders get really widely spaced apart. So even though there's riders in between them, these 2 people drop off from each other and can't hear each other anymore in a group. That's where mesh comes in. Mesh allows you to piggyback the signals off each other. So these 2 people can still hear each other because there are people in between them that allow the signals to bounce off. So most of the time in brands like Senna and Cardo, you're looking at paying at least $270 if you want 4 people and a mesh intercom. That's where the Motion 4 comes into play. This one, same stuff, comes with a mesh, $170. But also too, the really big thing with the Motion 4 is that you get the Pulse Pro speakers. Now, speakers are always a really big topic of debate when it comes to the Bluetooth community. The speakers in this thing, I'm not even going to play them for you guys because you guys have to come in and hear them. They are loud. Like, I could hear them from the back room all the way up here at my desk. They are crazy loud. So for some of you dudes that have like a louder helmet, this is an awesome choice while still being super affordable. But in this case too, they still came with a dual microphone. But in this case, they don't have them mounted into the speakers. They've got 2 wired microphones that are very small profile. which for any of you guys who are used to Cardo and Sena, they've got some fairly chunky microphones in there. So if you've got a helmet that is already just super tight in the cheeks, and so putting a microphone here just really hurts your jawline, that's where these guys come out. They're super thin dual microphones. So these things are super sweet, and at $170, you cannot get these kinds of features for the same price point in any of the other brands. So now we're moving on to the Motion 6. The Motion 6 is very similar to the Motion 4. It comes with all the same specs. In this particular case, it can connect up to a larger group, but the really big thing with the Motion 6 is that now you've got laser gestures. So they've actually got a detection system on the side that allows you to literally use your hand to make motions to get your music to skip, to take phone calls, whatever. You get the same stuff, but you don't have to push those really hard buttons. So if you're riding in the rain, you've got those really thick gloves already, or gauntlets, you can't push the buttons. That's where these guys come into play with the Motion 6. You get those low or laser motion gestures, so now you don't have to actually physically touch the item. These guys come in at $214, and at this point, this is when you can start buying dual packs. Dual packs are really nice because usually you end up having to pay a little bit less for a dual pack per unit than you would for individuals. So for a lot of people who are looking to buy for their whole buddies, this is where you can start buying the dual packs and saving yourself some money. So now we come to the creme de la creme, the Motion Infinite. The Motion Infinite has everything that the rest of these do, but it also has infinite amounts of mesh pairing. So there's that to start with, but also the really big ticket item with this is their crash detection system. So with this one, say for example, you get into a crash. It's something that potentially is inevitable for most of us. The beauty of this is that the first thing it does, that when it detects a crash, first it asks you to do a basic motion so that if you didn't get in a crash and you just dropped your helmet, you can do that motion really quick and let it know you're okay, we didn't crash, we're fine. If you don't do that motion, what it will do is that we'll send a pre-designed text message to 3 of your pre-set up contacts saying, hey, I crashed, here's my GPS location, and here's the closest hospital to me on Google Maps. And then your number 1 contact, it will actually phone call through your helmet automatically. So if you are conscious, that person that you've chosen will get that phone call, you can let them know what you need to know, or if you're not conscious, it will call them and they will know how serious the situation is. That comes with this. It's a super awesome feature that really you don't see much right now in the industry. So if you're someone where you tend to do a lot of solo riding and you're really worried about, your people knowing if something happens to you, this is an awesome thing to have. So additionally too, with all of these, you also get the Uclear app, and that's where you can set up all this stuff. Now, I'm not gonna lie, the app is also one of the really big selling points for Uclear. So first off, updates. You have to keep these things updating because your phone is constantly updating whenever it connects to the internet. But these devices only connect and upgrade when you tell them to. So if this thing upgrades and these don't know how to talk to each other anymore. Normally, from Cardo and Sena, you actually need to go on your computer, plug your device in, download the app, go ahead and hit install. Go ahead and sip some coffee for a little while, wait for that update to happen. If you're not by your computer, you can't do an update. With these, you can update them through the app. Trust me, use Wi-Fi for that. Don't use your data. It will be a slow process, but you can do it. So you can do the updates from your phone. That's the first awesome part. But additionally too, these guys come with an equalizer in the app. So for a lot of you guys, if you want to go ahead and futz with the bass or the treble or how much you got left or right side for these guys, you can adjust all of that in the app, along with a bunch of other features that are very similar amongst the other brands. So you've got a case of where you can separate music fading. You can go ahead too and choose whether or not you want to have different levels of noise cancellation. That's another big thing with the Uclears. Say you've got one helmet that's super loud and you're always doing intercom, you can adjust just how aggressively it noise cancels out the noise from the wind. So all these features are super nice to have. You have the app to adjust this. In the app is also where you're going to set up the crash system for the Motion Infinite. So in general, it's a super, super great product to have. And I'm going to go one more step here, guys, and say that the customer service for this brand is amazing. They treat you like a local person. Whenever I call them, I speak to a person here in the US, and if I have any problems with any of their product, they take care of you guys. The few times I've had issues, they just go ahead, get them a replacement device, take care of the guest. They don't try to pull one over me, they don't try to pull one over you. So you get a really good quality product made here in the US that takes care of its customers. So for that reason, we carry this stuff here in stock now. With the supply crisis, let's help local. With everybody being short on funds thanks to COVID, let's get a good bang for buck product in. At the same time, awesome speakers, I would argue possibly better than Cardo and Senna's. Super, super great app. Do updates from your phone. Get dual packs. Get crash detection. All this stuff, really great price point. And we carry it here in stock now at Simply Ride. So, if you guys have any questions, does this fit my helmet? Does this fit my needs? Does this fit my group? What can I do? Bring that in. We've already done several installs on these. I promise you we can probably make it work with most of your helmets. And if not, let's go ahead and get you a new helmet then, because we can fit these into any of our helmets here in stock. And they've got a lot of different mount setups, so if you're unsure, we can probably figure it out. So, with that, that's all I've got for you guys. Feel free to call, feel free to stop on in, and as always, thanks for watching.